We are here in LA, Radio Row for Super Bowl 56, Rams and Bengals. I'm here, former Super Bowl champion Marshall Faulk. And Marshall, people love to bet on the Super Bowl.
Yes, they do.
And I may have a couple wagers myself going. You're here with Max and Bet trying to remind people to be responsible with it.
We want you to be responsible. We want you to understand, set limits, set boundaries, make sure it's enjoyable, stay within the parameters of your income level, and maybe not drop $30,000 on the coin toss, but if you decide to do something crazy like that or be responsible, Max and Bet is the place that you want to go. We're able to take just about any bet you have.
My mom used to always say, if you're going to get $20 worth of enjoyment out of it, $20 is worth it to risk a little bit of that money if you have it.
Yes.
But as long as you have it, that's the big thing. So when you look at the way the NFL is now versus when you played, the running back position is been, I don't want to say marginalized, but it's not the same as it was. But at the same time, you got to be able to do more, which was your thing. So when you look at it, are you going, hey, this would be fun? Or what is your perception of how the league has changed?
Well, no, I mean, you guys have been, they show you guys the shiny object and you buy into it. Passing league, they're giving quarterbacks $300 million, and you're like, oh my God, like you have to do this. But just pay attention to when you get to the playoffs and you start asking guys, as you're going to ask me, like, hey, what are some of the keys to the game? They're going to tell you the team that run the ball the best. When you think about Green Bay, San Francisco, Green Bay couldn't run the football. Right. Or if they could have ran the football, they controlled the clock, that game would have been over. Rams, 49ers couldn't run the football. The Rams could. When the games matter, it's controlling the line of scrimmage and running the football. So I'll buy into it. I'll buy into it. Last year, Tom Brady had a great game, but Leonard Fournette, they ran the ball. They dominated the line of scrimmage. So pay attention to it. We are relevant, although they try to, maybe find 2 or 3 guys to get the job done, and they might not be a guy that's a showcase piece. But running the football is a huge part of this game, and you have to control the clock.
I know that you still are back and forth with St. Louis. I believe you have a place there.
Yeah.
What is your perception of how the St. Louis fans perceive this Rams team because they're in LA now?
I mean, there's some people whom still follow the Rams, and there's some people who don't. And it's to each their own. And I don't have anything to say about them. There's people like Marshall, I'm your fan, but I'm not a Rams fan. They get to make their own decisions. But for those fans that I know whom are still Ram fans that are in St. Louis, I mean, they're happy, they're excited, and I think that they look at it from the perspective of, well, we got them from LA. It's like it's the dynamic of you got the team from LA. And so how can you have the ill feelings when the shoe was on the other foot not too long ago?
Joe Burrow's rise this season has been meteoric, but this has been kind of who he has been as a personality his whole life. When I try and think of the guys in the 90s, early 2000s who were playing, is there a name comes to mind? You're like, yeah, that guy, he kind of reminds me of that guy. You know what,
man? I think you have to go back a little further when you start to think about, like, how he's carrying himself and the confidence that he has. I just, it's like he reminds me of a Marino, a Montana, a Joe Namath. Mm-hmm. Like he has that kind of aura about him. And I think Joe Montana and Joe Namath, more than just some average Joes who have played quarterback, he has that kind of appeal to him.
Did you ever play with someone that had that it factor that everyone just sort of gravitated to that guy?
Oh man, Peyton had it. Peyton definitely had it. Kurt's work habits and who he was as a person, he had it. But I think what you see in Joe is it's a whole different appeal. Like most young guys, you see him show up with a chain and glasses. They're going to have a bad game. To him, it's like, what are you talking about? I get sacked 9 times and still win. Like, what?
So when you have both the experience of winning a Super Bowl and losing a Super Bowl,
yeah.
How do you think how do you think one affected the other? Luckily, you got 99 and then 2001. But when you lost, was it easier to move on? Do you think?
No, it wasn't easier to move on, and you know what? Initially, it was, but all the scandal stuff that continued to come out, it continued to bring it up over and over again. So it's harder to just, let's say none of that stuff. You get over it, you move on. But then when it's like, hey, there's an investigation because they may have done this, and it's like, hold up, wait, really? But if I just think like if they'd have just left it alone and just allowed it to be what it was, then I don't, no issue, none whatsoever.
Is there a moment from the first one, or the second one, but is there a moment from the first one that is like, this is what I think of when I think of when we won the title?
Oh yeah, definitely. The Isaac Bruce catch. With him, with Isaac being a guy whom, early on in his career with the Rams had some success, and then the injuries and all the losing, to have him make that catch and score the game-winning touchdown, and then for Mike Jones in the tackle.
Yeah.
I think those two moments, it kind of crystallizes the moments that I think about when I think about our Super Bowl.
Anything on the sidelines in the huddle or anything like that?
No, I mean those two plays. I mean those are epic plays,
Yeah.
like epic. Isaac's touchdown and the Mike Jones tackle, like epic plays.